What is up, everybody? I ain't with my Sonic hat in a minute. Look, Hypeland had these hats, and they had them in another color, and I didn't get it, but I wish I did because he ain't selling these no more. But I'm glad I got it when I got it. This one at least, because guess what? Every time I wear this hat, I get a compliment. Um, but what's going on, y'all? It's another beautiful Monday. Great conversations, things we gotta talk about. So I first want to get into some announcements. Technically three. So I'll get into the first one. I kind of briefly touched on. I think it was last week's live stream. I think I did. I'm not sure. First of all, I got a guest today. I haven't had a guest on the live stream, and I got to get back to doing that. First is PodFest this week. Excited about that. Got some goals with that, but something happened. Um, what was I about to say? Something happened that gave me more credibility. Which I'm about to get into that. So I am on the team for Just Here with Dr. J, with Dr. J Barnett, mental health therapist, speaker, advocate, writer, all these things. His podcast started in April. He's at almost 22K on YouTube. And we just found out, along with Michelle Obama's podcast, Melissa Ford podcast, and a few others podcasts, his podcast was nominated for NAACP Image Award. And we just found that out earlier today. So I'm probably gonna put the link in the bio so y'all can go vote with just here with Dr. J, because like I said, the fact that he's even nominated, you know what I'm saying? Podcast just started and you nominated some of these people, even if you don't win, the odds that just come from that, you know what I mean? And then the fact that he just gave a public shout out with me on his as a part of his team, and he has a huge following. Like, that is good news. And it adds also more credibility to me, because not only am I a podcast host, and I produced myself all these years. In 2025, I was able to take 2 podcasts and help produce those. And, I'm thankful for the opportunity to do that. And it just adds more credibility to what I'm trying to do. And also, before we get into today's episode, I want to also say that due to unforeseen circumstances and probably my mental health as well, the last week's episode was Social Media You Part 5, Social Media You Reloaded Part 5. I've decided that episode is going to be the season finale. And the reason being is because, well, one, it was a lot to unpack, one, but two, I had another episode in mind, which I had publicly stated. But what I'm gonna do is, and also with me doing this, and also what I'm gonna announce in the episode when I get my boy on, is that you have the right to say one thing and then come back and say something changed, and people will respect you more when you do that versus you try to double down on ignorance or stupidity, or you just ain't know, or ignorance and the same thing, but But I'm just not there. These last few episodes was hard for me to get through. Not recording wise, the guests have been great, from AmRock to John T to my boy Anthony Dotson, my guy William, and then of course my guy Peyton. But I'm over it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm over this season. And not because of bad thing. I'm outdone. I'm tired. I need a break. And that's okay. So season 10 will come back April or May. We don't have a date yet, but I have another project that I'm working on that it will drop before then, which you'll be excited to see that. And also, I also have that. Remember, I told y'all during the season that when I did the Curious Case episode, that I was going to do another Curious Case probably sometime from between now and the new season, just a random episode. It'll be like the episode that was supposed to be part 6. It might be that then, because it was going to be social media influence, and I might just talk about male influencers and use it as a curious case of a male influencer, and I might just do it like that, the curious case of. And yeah, I think that'll be a great idea. So he was just on the podcast last week. He caused the ruckus. Every time he comes on, he causes a ruckus. I keep telling this man he just needs to be produced right. And I think that he'd be fighting everybody. That, along with his regular job and with his family, he'd have to add fighting people online, because he just needs to be produced right. So we bringing him back yet again, my guy AmRock. Let's get it started. My God, what's going on?
What's going on with you?
How you feeling?
Good, man. Congratulations on the news.
Thank you.
That's awesome news.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
congratulations, man.
I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So,
Stuff.
uh, you've been here so many times. Everybody know who you are. I ain't got to keep introducing you. At least in the former episode, I will just for the stat, but this is the live stream. We don't have to do that. So, I
Yeah.
first want to say thank you again for the episode. I even contemplated cutting it into two parts. I'm glad I didn't. I just left it whole. The audio of the episode is doing well. The YouTube clips are going crazy. The TikTok clip, because I only post one clip of my podcast on my TikTok now. Um, that clip got the people commenting, asking, questioning things. And we're gonna comment on a few things. This might be one of the longer recaps. I try to keep them around 5 minutes. This one might be 10 minutes. I don't know. The live stream, there is no script, so it's just we just here. But what was I about to say? So from then to now, because it was a quick turnaround, because it barely is a week even after we recorded it. So from just kind of the feedback you've gotten on your end and maybe what you've seen, how do you feel that you were portrayed on the episode? How do you feel, you know, anything you feel like I stand corrected, anything you like I said what I said, I feel the same way. Is there anything you like, I like how I looked, anything you question, anything you challenge, anything like that from just this most recent episode?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think we had it was a great episode. I appreciate you having me on as always. We had a great discussion. Everybody should, I know clips sometimes maybe cut certain, certain things or certain statements. So yeah, everybody should just listen to the full episode. But I don't think we said anything totally controversial. I mean, a lot of stuff is, we talked about some controversial topics, I guess, but
Yeah.
that's life, right? Like everything we talked about is part of life, part of everyday life, part of life in America. Things that people are going through, dealing with, have dealt with, gone through. You and I may have gone through things, like it's just we're speaking upon life. We're speaking upon things about what we know, and that's that. But also, we are researchers, we are historians, we are all of those things too. And so yeah, we're gonna have opinions. Period.
No, sure, definitely. I liked how you just, like I said, you very. I'm the type of person where like today. I have a friend of mine who, and I don't know if it's a difference between growing up in the Midwest and growing up in the South, because he's in Mississippi. So right now he has this has nothing to do with the topics, but it's just the showing the how it looks when two people can agree to disagree. So I have my car. I think everybody knows my car was stolen, and I'm in the process of getting a new one. Blessing in disguise, though. But he has a car now because he didn't have a car. Now he has a car. And so he made the joke to me, like, when you get your car, don't forget about. I'm like, why would I forget about you? Because I've been driving you around this long, right? And he was just like, yeah, but when I got in your car, I gave you gas, man. I said, well, yeah, you offered. And he was like, yeah, but you supposed to say, nah, I don't need it. I'm like, well, no, because you offered. I'm not gonna say no, especially in them cases. I needed it, so it was like, And he was just kind of like, well, we just have different perspectives on that. I'm like, right, because I don't. Then if you didn't have it, you shouldn't offer. Because if it's my friend, I would have still did it.
Yeah.
But you offered. So what am I saying? I mean, some people may say I don't need it, but I mean, he is. I'm not gonna put him on blast online, but I'm gonna say it in a way. I'm gonna code it in a way where he is a neighborhood pharmacist, and you know what that means.
Okay.
So money come to him like this. So I'm like, you ain't missing out. I ain't even counting nobody pockets, but you get it. You know how them people work.
I got you.
So I was just like, and he was just like, well, I guess we could just agree to disagree. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not moving off that statement. If you didn't have it, then you should have just said that. But
right.
Right. But the point that I'm making is, even in that episode, there were things where I felt that we were able to, we stood strongly on our stances, which I actually have been praised on for another internet friend. He's a YouTuber. He was just like, what I like about what your podcast is that even when people don't agree with you, you don't try to be like, well, yeah, you're right. He just like, you still stand on what you said. Like, I'm not going to backpedal, because that's just how I feel. research can prove that you to be right. Research can prove that I'm right. And it just depends on what, depends on what angle you want to go with, and you can believe what you want. Now, one thing from the episode that I didn't get a chance to address, I don't know how I forgot, but it was a comment you made when you said that, and I don't remember I remember the conversation we was having back and forth about Kamala and Donald before he got elected. And I remember you was saying you said, well, you thought it was a joke. Now, here's the thing. I don't think I necessarily thought it was a joke. I remember saying, I don't believe all that stuff he's saying he gonna do. I'm like, I don't believe he gonna do all that.
Correct.
Now,
correct.
Is he doing everything he said? Yes and no. I mean, I knew he was irate. I don't know. I just feel like with politics, they always say they're gonna do all these things and never do every little thing. Because even Joe Biden has promised all these things. We still got student loans pending. You got your student loans pending still?
Of course.
So I think that I meant it from that angle. But the thing with Donald Trump is you don't know what he's gonna do. I feel like he don't know what he's gonna do. To be quite honest.
Yeah, and see that. Well, that's the thing. They knew exactly what they were going to do. And that was our, the conversation I was trying to have with you, like, and understanding, like, no, dude, like, they know exactly what they're going to do. They know exactly what they want to do, and they were putting it out there. But yes, to your point, I mean, a lot of people, especially a lot of Black men, felt similar in how you felt. And I get it. I'm not saying I didn't get it where you were coming from, because he is a personality. He is a celebrity. I mean, like, that's where everybody really knows him from, a princess. Right. But no, like, I was just trying to, like, say, like, yeah, man, no, this is the real deal. He is serious about the things, and what Kamala was warning us in saying that what he was going to do, a lot of those things have become true, starting with, Venezuela, this and a whole bunch of things she said during her run came true. And a lot of things that Trump promised that he wouldn't do, he has already done or implemented. So, but yeah, that was the gist of where I was coming from with that. But I got it. I understood why you and others felt the way that you did.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, we agreed even in the episode where we both even stated that we believe that, which piggybacks off of my episode. I don't know if you checked that one out, social media and conspiracy theories, where we kind of piggybacked off the logic of the president is a pawn. Most people don't understand that. Most people will deny that. They'll be like, oh, I don't believe that. And one thing Andrew Tate used to say, which I fell off with him. I agree with some stuff he used to say, but now I'm like,
yeah, that guy.
Yeah, but he's mixed.
I did not, but I can tell that now that you said that. That's easy to see.
Yeah. But you can't tell because he cut that hair off, so that you can't tell he bald. You can't. That's why you can't tell.
Okay.
But I remember he made a statement. I forgot, it might have been on the Candace Owens interview, and I remember your favorite. And I remember he made a statement and said, "I don't see when first of all, he made the comment, I don't believe that when they have the meeting." I sound so ignorant, but the meeting when they have the all of the presidents and prime ministers come together, I don't see them respecting her when she speaks, which I can agree with that. I don't see them other countries and men, and I don't see them respecting her. But also
respecting who? Respecting
Kamala Harris.
Okay.
I don't see that either. But also he made the comment about, and also when they go behind the scenes and they get that phone call from the higher up saying, hey, do this. He was just like, I know she was just going to do everything they said. She wasn't going to question it. She was going to be like, yes. I mean, in my opinion, and this might be controversial, I believe Obama did that too.
Sure. Well, listen, I mean, when has a president ever really been good or for the people? You know what I mean? I mean, one example of that was JFK, and they gunned him down, right? I mean, and he wasn't all the way for civil rights before, you know what I mean? Like him and his brother came around to that. But once they realized, oh, that's what they were about to and pushing that agenda, they took both of them out too. So, but there's never been a political figure. I mean, Obama and Biden and Bush and Reagan, and come on, I mean, like, what have they really done for the people.
Yeah.
Truly. I mean, there's been a couple of things, even Obama with Affordable Care Act, right? Yeah, shout out to Gary, DJ No
Oh
Name.
yeah, what's up,
But
my guy?
but yeah, like when have they really been for the people? Any president.
Right. And that's the thing too. And that's why I think some people, which, I don't, here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that some people have that agenda, that ideology too, because I have friends, different types of friends with all different beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends, super woke, super black powered, he will tell you left and right, up, down, center, he's not voting. I'm not getting caught up in none of that. Like he's a type, he literally said when they tried to assassinate some president, I forgot who it was, he was like, take them all out. He's one of them. He like, I don't care about none of them. And I'm just like, look, now, I respect people standing on what they believe in. At least, even if it's totally just wrong, well, I don't agree. I'm like, look, at least you're not backpedaling. So hey, you do you. Now I don't agree. We should just take them all down, right? But at least I can say, we at least are aware that there's people pulling the strings.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the conspiracy thing, it was one I saw a long time ago. I never brought up on the podcast, but I wish I did. When they said that Joe Biden was fine, and all of a sudden during his term, he just got mysteriously ill and became senile out of nowhere. And somebody said that was, something so that they could try to push Kamala. I don't know. Because she was technically the acting president, right?
For a hot second. Yeah, it was a hot second. But yeah.
But I thought that was interesting, and I don't know. I might have to run the conspiracy back again because there's so many that I want to unpack publicly. I don't know if you're into conspiracy theories, but if you so, then that's one you could do the part 2 at some point.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So now going back to the episode, because it was some things that was said that had nothing to do with you that some of these comments. So one of the clips was called Non-Blacks and the N-Word, Why the Comfort. I posed the question, and then the way the clips were edited, it like added something you were saying about how you heard white people say that they learned all about black people from Candace Owens, and it was something else that you said.
Mm-hmm.
But this one guy, white guy, his name is Stacy Vandergriff, 8869. He said black people using the word is culturally appropriation. You didn't invent the word, white people did. And I didn't respond to him yet because I was going to. I didn't get a chance to. I wanted to see what I know you got a lot to say.
That statement confused the hell out. What word is he talking? Cultural appreciation? Is that what he's talking about?
He said cultural appropriation.
Appropriation.
Yeah. He said because basically saying that why do non-blacks feel comfortable using the N-word? In my case, I was speaking on the Hispanics, and because they use it so frequently. Like I told you, I was at the gym, dudes use every other word. I'm like, bro, all right, now look. He said it's cultural appropriation that we didn't invent the word, white folks did. So basically, he's implying that white people can use that word because they made it up. You see what you got activated on my stuff?
Right. I mean, look, again, white people, we know you say it anyway. So it's
they definitely do.
Again, for black people, we cannot continue to, as much as yes, that word is derogatory and we know where that word stemmed from, we cannot continue to allow words to cause us to become hostile and get upset, right? Because we understand that, or we should understand that all of that is just trying to provoke us, period. Right? That word is a provoking word, and immediately, as soon as we hear it from a white person, we want to fight. That is what some white people are trying to get us to do. They want us to be in that state constantly, right? And especially black men, we are constantly in that fight mode. And that's where they want us to be. And so, we have to sit here and go, you know what? Like, we don't want to, we should not feel like we have to engage anytime a white person wants to decide that they want to use that word.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know. Hey, Izzy, I don't know if you can see, but your picture is out. But
Yeah, I know. I'm fixing it
okay,
now. I don't
okay,
know
all
what
right,
happened.
cool. But yeah, I mean, you know, listen, like I said, if they want to use that word, which, you know, they do, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to use that word in the comfort of their homes. They're going to use that word at the, you know, the Christmas parties, at the, you know, at the parks when they're, you know, having coffee. You know, white women are having coffee and the kids are playing in the playground. Oh, look at these niggas over. Like, they do it. You know, we're not oblivious to that. And so again, black people, as much as yes, that again, that word is derogatory towards us. Again, we know where it stems from. And yes, they did not create the word. They did not create the word, actually. If you know your African origins, they did not create the word. That word actually um, stems from, I forget
Negus.
exactly where it stems from, but yeah, and it's actually more of a term of I guess endearment
NEG.
or peace and stuff.
NEGUS, right?
Yes, things like that. And then also like with the swastika, if you don't know that, that is actually a African symbol as well, stem from peace, right? And they flipped that and turned it into something negative, right? So if we want to be historically accurate, no, you did not invent that word or the root of that word, but you used it towards us in a derogatory sense, because ultimately by you stripping us from our native land, we did not know ultimately, or we couldn't remember or connect with where our heritage and where those type of words and traditions and certain things come from. And a lot
Right.
of things they twist and turn. And so that's the bottom line. But white folks, you want to use it, use it. We know you use it anyway. But
Yeah.
black folks, don't let that deter you from our goals into
It,
being free.
it's kind of like when your parents, when the kids be cussing, it's like, I know y'all be cussing, but I better not hear it.
Right. And we used to cuss like a mug at 8, 9 years old, you know, on the yeah, we did it. Hey, so yeah, white people, say it if you want to.
Yeah. And so another video before we move on was that clip, the 48 presidents, why why white people still hate us. And you were talking about the 48, the presidents, and all of these white presidents, and then what you said, and I agree. And he's this one guy, his name is Gerald Mulligan, 2859.
Mm-hmm.
He said your professional victimhood makes you look like a fool. Now I know you responded to that. He didn't respond to what you said.
Of course not.
But I just was like, I knew that was gonna get him. I knew that was gonna get him. And honestly, if my TikTok was a podcast page, and it's not, but if it was, I had at least 3-4 more clips. I know would have just had him going in a bit of a doozy. But I ain't do it. So, but they may come back up at a later date. But I just had to bring those up because I said every time I post you get the people going. Every time.
Hey man, I mean, I guess the truth is upsetting. Especially here in America, the truth is upsetting. I mean, you talk about all them conspiracy theories and stuff. Man, do you know how much stuff we do not know?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And stuff they cover up and lie about, and it's crazy. But
Yeah.
it's our truth, man. It is what it is. It's our truth. And some white people don't want to hear it. But I will say this about white folks, especially in this country during this time. You more so on social media than ever, you see some of them coming around and understanding that, like, we are not each other's enemies, yo. Like, this really isn't about race. Again, to that point with the 48 again, you guys have had someone of your same race in power since the start of the United States,
Yeah.
as we know it. And still over 90% of you are not that 2% or not part of that club. Why? You ask yourselves that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, it's funny because the topics I picked today, you didn't see them, but both of them I feel like align with you, and this one is kind of, you made the come by 2%, so it goes to the first topic for the day. So Elon Musk is in the news, and he said something. So there was something that was on Twitter, X, and it says, if white men became a minority, we would be slaughtered. Remember, if non-whites openly hate white men while white men hold a collective majority, then they will be 1,000 times more hostile and cruel when they are the majority of the whites. White solidarity is the only way to survive. He put the 100 emoji. Some of the comments, it says they think we lack compassion because they do. And it said y'all are scared that we would treat you the same way they treated us. I hope the Tesla stocks plummet to hell. This is why he's seeing black people drive Teslas.
He don't care about that. He just got $1 trillion from Tesla, from the stockholders and shit. Like, he don't care about that.
Yeah, so man, no one hates y'all. Y'all hate us. I'm gonna end it on that one. All right, so let's get into the first part, which is, what does this have to do with mental health? I think that when we get into the study of how we act, think, and feel, making the decisions we make, commenting on what we want to comment on, and whether you like Elon Musk or not, and I'm sure you'll probably say it's because he's white, but I respect a person's just boldness. You just bold, but it's like in his case, you just very rich. But I mean, I know bold poor people, so it's like I don't know, but it's poor black people. Poor, I know they just bold. They don't care, and I always respect the person who will just be bold and not care because he got all this money. He don't care what nobody said. That's why that girl was like, y'all still on X and y'all still drive Teslas. Now I got off X because it's nothing but corn, and I just feel like it just will. Some people say they can dodge it, but you really can't. It's to the point where it's overwhelming. Like it's just like it's. I don't know if you still on X, but no. Yeah, it's overwhelming. But what I will say is, if we get into the study how we act, think, and feel, and extracting what he did, just having a conversation about whites becoming a minority. Do you think they will ever become the minority?
They are the minority.
I feel like I knew that. So, okay, I got reminded because I'm like, okay, so they are the minority. So what do you think will happen if, do you think that they're going to lash out? They already are, but do you think it will get worse than this?
So here's the thing. Shout out to Elon, okay, for telling the truth. Because he's right. First of all, if people know, what do you call it? Geographics and the population, demographics and the population, and different things like that. In that little corridor of China, India, Indonesia is over 5-6 billion people by itself. All right, of the Asian, Polynesian, Indian, South Asian, community. All right, just alone, they never tally up the correct numbers when it comes to Africa and combining all of those 50 countries in that population.
Yeah,
black people are all over the world because, one, we were already all over the world. Okay, before slavery, we were already all over the world. We were already here in America. We were already in South America. If you know about history, we traveled through the Bering Strait when it was ice. That is all correct, right? Yeah. Like the Bering Strait, people, that connects Russia and United States. It was actually ice. We walked through that. We've been all over already. Yeah. But if you want to talk about slavery, white people, you guys took us everywhere too. You guys put us on the ships and literally took us everywhere. You took over what? Over 5 million, maybe even more, million people to Brazil, the Caribbean, right? All of those people, even though, over time, skin, tone and things change because of, sunlight and all of that stuff. All those people are black, okay? Like, all those people are black. Brazil has the largest black population outside of Africa in the world. All right, that's just Brazil. All right, United States, we're here. Europe, we're there. Australia, we down there. All right, ever heard of the little island below Australia? People used to sell what's the old Disney character, Tasmanian Devil? You ever heard of that island, Tasman? Right, New Zealand. All those people are black. Okay, a lot of the people in the so yes, if you tally up all of us all over the world, all right, yeah, white people, you are the minority. You are only the majority here in America, Canada, and in Europe and Russia. Literally. What China, that's Asian people. All right. Like, yeah, rest of the world. I mean, and you got a few in Australia, but people don't realize Australia, 93% of that is desert. It's literally coastal cities where 7% of the population is, right? Like they throw all these numbers out there like, like we got a strong population here. The numbers are inaccurate that they throw at you. But again, if you are uneducated, if you don't do your research like some people don't do, then you won't know some of this stuff. So Elon Musk is right. Yes, they are the minority. And to piggyback off that, I think Trump said if he doesn't get reelected, they're going to potentially impeach him. There's been a lot of that rhetoric out there. White people feel like that we have to be. But yeah, they of course they feel that way, right? Because they know that there is a threat towards their reproduction right now within the world, right? And my thing is with some white people who feel that way, if y'all believe in an eye for an eye so much, why do you continue to bother people the way that you do? If you feel like one day, eventually, black people will rise up against you, like on some Nat Turner shit, right? Rise up against you, right? In revolt, and supposedly now put you guys in slavery. Why do you keep continuing to do the things that you do around the world? Why do you continue to cause conflict and violence and war for greed and corruption and for oil and for diamonds and for why do you continue to do that when you at your core believe in eye for an eye? A lot of people have been saying what Elon Musk, just in different ways, but they've been saying very similar stuff where it's like, they fear that we are going to be the minority and that if we don't become the majority in this world or take control of this world, everybody's going to do. But why not try to incorporate yourself in a world in a positive light? It doesn't make sense, like the actions that you take, and then to say things like this, you contradict yourself a lot of the time. But they're thinking a lot of us, Izzy, they're thinking a lot of us are uneducated, right? And don't get it. But that's not you or I, right? And that's not a lot of people like us, right? We get it. We know what it is. We can read between the lines. And so yeah.
Okay. So now let me get to the next segment, which is WWID. What would I do in this situation? So say if I feel as though with that, because he agreed with the statement. And of course, people, he's this, he's that. And if we take him out the equation, because we got to extract the principle of what's going on here. Because sometimes there are times when you've been there and I've been there where we could have we seen something that we know. Hold on. If you don't know the difference between Joe and whites, you're not as educated as you think.
And whites.
He meant Jew. Maybe I think he meant Jews. Okay, I'm gonna just say he meant Jews because I'm like I wasn't gonna say nothing. I'm like, okay.
I was about to actually because I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the most educated person.
I know the difference between the Jews and the whites, but he just responded yes. Okay, he just spelled Jews in a different way.
Okay, Jews and whites. I'm sorry, but aren't
Yeah.
What one of the biggest white on white crimes that you all like to remind us of was the Holocaust.
Got it. He said didn't want to get your life taken down. I'm showing respect. That's why he spelled it that way because.
So
now we know. So he just taught us something. Okay. He taught us something. Okay, I
Okay,
like that. All right,
much
make sure
yeah,
you
that was like,
subscribe, please.
huh? Like what? They yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Make sure you
Respect.
subscribe. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie. They do, because if we even get into that, there's a difference between the black Jews, the real Jews. Lord, I ain't gonna come get me. But and then them, because it's like, I don't want to explain this. I'm gonna let them marinate first, because I want to get to what I was about to say first. I don't want to lose that. So WWID, what would I do in this situation? So again, extract and forget Elon Musk right now. We just saying, if this is in a situation where you wanted to speak on something, but you knew it was gonna cause, because there have been times I could have left some alone, and I'm like, I need to say something, and I don't care how nobody feel about it. So if that was me, I've done that several times. Are there times when we should just be quiet? Yes, but then there are like that. He didn't have to say nothing with that, because nobody was talking to him. He just decided to insert himself.
Can't help themselves, yo. In some cases, they can't help it.
Do you think this is because it's Elon Musk, or do you think it's because of his, what he is?
That's what a lot of them are at their core. Again, they can't help it. But yeah, I mean, because he's Elon Musk, it gets out there.
Yeah.
They have to have somebody push the agenda, push the message.
Okay. So where have you been in a situation where you repeated, you basically inserted yourself in something that you could have left alone, and you knew it was going to cause hell, but you didn't care anyway? Because that's basically what he just did.
Have you saying have I? Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think most of us have. I think most of us have, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's watch this. WWJD, what would Jesus do? So based on what we know, there are times where in the Bible that when Jesus spoke up, because a lot of times, don't get it twisted, we do have to turn the other cheek, but there are times you can respectfully stand up and speak on things. And there are so many instances where Jesus did that. And it actually had shocked me when I had reread some of the New Testament. I'm like, oh, he was really like, no, that's incorrect. Like, he wasn't just, people try to make him like he was just so passive and just like, oh, and you can still be, but what I get from that is, with this situation with Elon, again, that was unnecessary. However, in the case where some things that you speak on, you may speak on, what black, like even when you made the comment and I asked and I said, do you think that this is because black people, what was it that I said? Because I made a clip about it, and it was like, he was like, and I said that black people have to go through things, or is there such thing as we always talking about race too much? And me personally, do I believe sometimes some black people use it as a crutch? Yes. But at the same time, there are some instances where it does need to be spoken on. Like, you could have left that alone. You said, no, I'm going to use my platform to say this is clearly racially motivated. These people are making an example of this black coach because he's a black man. If he was not a black man, they would not have been doing that. And even when I'm the type of person, because I'm the big on, like I just said, but there are times I've spoken on race, and it was somebody on, I'll never forget, on Threads, I ended up blocking him. And I was following him and I liked his content, but he made a comment about Diddy, which was just so ignorant to me. And
what was the comment?
I'm getting to it. He said this when Diddy was the stuff first kind of was popping off. It was like 2024, I think. It was 24. And he was like, this Diddy's case proves that there's no such thing as white privilege, and blew me, and said there's no such thing as white privilege, and that it's all about rich privilege or something like that. I said, I usually agree with you, but white privilege is clearly a thing. Like,
both are things. Both are. Yeah.
I forgot all of what I said. I remember I was just saying something like, I just remember reiterating that there is such thing as white privilege. And he said, no, there isn't. Quit playing victim. And I was like,
so the FDA loans during the 1950s, after people came home from the war, where people go ahead, my bad, go ahead.
And to add this, he has a black girlfriend.
Sister, you can always come home. You can always come home.
But you know what? I was just like, and there's something else that happened to me when I was in Baltimore. I'm about to speak on that in a second. But I was
Be
just
more.
like, huh?
I said, be more.
I was in Baltimore before I went to DC for my birthday. So we was in Baltimore the day before because my homegirl stayed in Baltimore. And then we went to DC the next day and was there while we was waiting on Airbnb. We was out, and this guy, it was this black guy. No, it was these. I looked like they was in the Navy, and it was this
Okay.
drunk white guy and his black girlfriend, and he was drunk, and he said something to one of the Navy guys, and then he pushed the black Navy guy and said, "Shut up, N-word." And I said, and he has a black girlfriend. She was like, calm down, calm down. And I'm like, now he ended up getting served up. He got like body slammed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, what? You okay with that? I was like, this is wild to me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But these are two examples where I'm wondering if white men who have black girlfriends think they can, if that's okay. I don't. Is anybody that with a white man with a black girlfriend?
So, my sister is
Okay.
married to a white man.
Okay.
So I have a white brother-in-law.
How
However,
is he?
huh?
How is he? Do you like him?
Of course, yeah. I mean, no, look, when I always tried to preference my comments by saying some white people.
Right.
Not
Because
all of them
they're
feel,
not all bad.
yeah, not all of them feel the way that, like
Yeah,
these
and I know that,
racists.
for sure.
No. And I've never come across him in that light where I've never heard him say anything crazy to my sister or me or my family or or to my nieces, their daughters, right? That's never happened. So he actually, funny fact, when I was in high school, I was of course, getting into hip hop, rap. He actually introduced me to like 90s hip hop, like Tribe Called Quest and Souls of Mischief and Far Side. He literally gave me those CDs, right? Like cool, just cool dude, right? But look, white people in some cases, white men especially getting with black women, that's their muse, right? That goes again back to slavery, unfortunately, and them showing up, well, even before that, them showing up in Africa and seeing how beautiful our women are, right? But they're also innate nature in some of them to be very controlling, to be very domineering, to be very, unfortunately, sexually violent, right? To be manipulative. And they still, some of them, they still crave that, right? Yeah, I mean, they go after our sisters, and unfortunately a lot of them are fed up with black men, especially here in America. All right. And so they turn to the other cheek, and it's a whole bunch of mental and psychological reasons for that, whatever your reason. And some black women just say, I just fell in love with the guy. It is what it is, right? You can't help who you love, but you still have to understand who some of them are at heart, right? That's something my mama always told me, right? Always understand who white people are at heart. As much as, some of them are cool, some of them might give you a job, some of, you might even have a couple friends, you might go to the bar with a few, right? Like, yes, you might even have some in your family, right? Understand, right? What is our innate nature, right? Happiness, peace, love, harmony, love to be outside with nature, with grass, all these things about us, right? A lot of white people, their innate nature, a lot of them come from, their origin is coming from the hills, right? Listen.
I know that's why I'm laughing, because it's just
the Caucasus Mountains, Caucasian, like that's where that's still, like they're used to being barbaric and violent and having to fight for every little, like when they came to Africa and saw we was doing, like, what the hell? That's why they copied a lot of stuff. That's why they robbed us of a lot of stuff. But, so yeah, but there's a whole bunch of reasons and stuff for that. But yeah, I mean, no, some of them, some of them are, are very much just about humanity. That's all it's really about. Are you about humanity? Are you humane? Right? Do you see black people in the streets being killed by police and go, damn, that could happen to us? And oh shit, did it not just happen to y'all? Has it also not happened to y'all? Can't you not empathize and sympathize on that alone? That it is not okay for any person to be gunned down in the street. It is not okay for any person to be victimized. Why is it okay for it to happen to us? Don't y'all realize that can happen to y'all too? That's not okay. And that's all black people want some of these white people to see. That's it.
Yeah. Final segment in this, which is what should men do in this situation? Now, if you just want the smoke, which again, taking Elon Musk out of it, speaking on something that inserting yourself in a conversation that didn't have nothing to do with you, just is gonna cause hell. If you feel like stirring a pot that day, Jack Lee, then that's on you. Just understand it comes with what it comes with, and let's not, if it's again with Jesus, we did that, or in case you speaking off on something that needs to be spoken on, that's different. But you just want to smoke, then okay, cool. I'm gonna say don't do it. I live that lifestyle of wanting to smoke. It is a lot. There's a lot that come with that. But if that's what you think you want to do, then by all means. But I don't have it in me no more. So only way I'm picking the smoke is if I'm on a camera, not in real life, because I'm over it. Which is another conversation with these podcasts. I've been in rooms with podcasts getting set up, and they, even though they agree on what they're disagreeing on, I have watched them say they were going to turn it up for the camera. I've watched them do it. So that's the real thing. And that's why I be telling people, like, you really podcast ebook, I'm going to drop eventually, but I'm going to tell people you have to pick the role you want to play, and you have to just play it, and you just have to amp it up. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you need to go on here flipping tables and screaming at the top of your lungs, but you definitely have to lean into that character, amplified version of yourself. Now, I'm not saying, come on with a wig and no crazy stuff like that, but you have to really,
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah.
Okay. Now, final segment, which we speaking on the movie Sinners, and we're going to talk about, it's 2 different clips we're going to watch and talk about. So I felt like this was good for you because, one, I know you're a movie buff, filmmaker, so it all makes sense. But also, too, because of somebody threw race in it. So I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. So we're going to look at the first clip. This first one where it talks about they won. Hold on, let me refresh it. Because it said they won at first, and then we're going to watch the other one.
For showing up. Amazing world. This movie was made by hundreds of people. We don't always work in the film business, wear tuxedos and look glammed out. It's usually a grind. You know what I mean? We wearing like performance fishing gear, and we in the swamps, and it was an honor on this movie to know that it was getting a theatrical release. We would remind people every day in the dog days of summer in New Orleans. We would say, "Hey, big movie, people gonna see this, big theater." We didn't know that would show up, so we just want to say thank you that they did. It meant the world to us.
Okay, now that's the one, because if they won the Golden Globe for Best Cinematic and Box Office Achievement, so that's a good, achievement. But then this other video made it saying, is black people picking? Let's see. So it says that
Wagner, Nora.
the social media, Sinners is at least twice as good as most of these movies, and here we are. Michael B. Jordan literally played 2 characters. What the hell is this Golden Globe? And they're showing how to go away not to award Sinners. So it says that getting snubbed in major categories for their movie Sinners, the movie was nominated for 7 awards and walked away with 2 wins. Ryan was nominated for Best Director and Screenplay. Unfortunately, he did not win either award. Michael B. was nominated for Best Actor in Drama and lost the award as well. The movie won awards for Best Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. Can we get our own Black award show? At some point, we need to pour into our resources into our own award shows. He didn't play a drug dealer. That's why Michael ain't win. I ain't gonna lie, y'all sound biased as hell. When y'all say they got snubbed, does it mean you watched every other film in the category? We act surprised every time. Sinners was cool. Y'all for sure hyped it up. Okay, that's one person. At this point, it's just time for new awards, and we're gonna end it there because I will be all day reading the comments. So let's get into the first part, which is what does this have to do with mental health? Study of how we act, think, and feel. So, from one angle, we could say, and I think this is the angle you believe in. They say you were nominated for 7, you won 2. Here, niggas. All right, now that's it. Now I ain't gonna give you no more. But it is an accomplishment. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. You know, I've gave him kudos before on I think it was podcast talking about, because I'm all, as a creator myself, I'm into creativity. And when he said that the main villain was inspired by the villain in the Puss in Boots movie, like that's how I be doing stuff. Like I take some from this, and then like put it together, and nobody would ever think that was the inspiration for it. But yeah, I what's your take on it as a filmmaker and someone who's passionate about racial conversation?
Yeah, I'm also a historian, so especially like with Oscar and Globe history, I'm like I'm a who won the Oscar in '95, type of person, right? Like, and historically, Black people, this isn't nothing new where they pick and choose, all right, per the roles that we play when we win. Now, with Sinners, one of the issues that I have with Sinners as far as when it was released, because a lot of times, if you follow film, if you follow award season normally starts at Emmys, and I think the Emmys are like in September, October, I think September, and then here on out through March, which ends with the Oscars. All right. So normally that's when those films drop, those Oscar-worthy, award-winning worthy films drop. And so for Sinners to drop in May, even though I understand it was a summer release, people automatically didn't consider that a award-winning or it should be a part of because of when it was released, right? Because normally they don't consider those movies that come out during the summer and different things like that. But they have, right? But they do Black films, especially Black films that they know might have a chance. They do them like that. Similar, they did Ava DuVernay's Origin in the same manner. That came out right before the Oscar ceremony, right? So nobody was, thinking about that, unfortunately. But that was a great film, and that should have had consideration during that award season that year. But anyway, Sinners, as far as I'm concerned, Ryan Coogler should have won for Best Original Screenplay. That went to Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. And Paul Thomas Anderson has been around in the game for a long time. He's directed Magnolia. He's directed There Will Be Blood. He's directed The Master. He's done a lot of films where like maybe the actors won, but he never really won. So this is his time, quote unquote, right? So they're giving it to him. But yeah, I mean, that's still disappointing. And with Michael B's performance, to play devil's advocate, as you say, there have been plenty of times where guys have played 2 characters or women have played 2 characters. That wasn't going to be the separator. Do I still think, yes, his performance was definitely nominated worthy, as he will be, as he should be, especially for the Oscars. He's been nominated for all the awards up to this point, but hasn't won. Right. They're really pushing Timothy Chalamet, of course, for Marty Supreme. They was really trying to push it with him when he did Bob Dylan. But this is his opportunity now. But of course, race plays a part into it. Right. Chris Rock saying, Oscar's so white. That was the thing. Right. There was a moment where no Black people were getting nominated for acting Oscars. But I also both can be true in the fact that we do need our own. We need a bigger. We need to create our own award ceremony other than the BET Awards. Image Awards is cool. But BET Awards, BET Awards, MTV Awards, those are like kiddie. We need something like official, like the Academy and the stages that it goes through, right? So yeah, it's difficult. I know a lot of people expected Michael B to win, but here's the thing too. And I posted this comment earlier. Don't watch the Oscars. don't watch it, because what they're doing with Sinners also is they're drawing in the black crowd. Black people. Oh, Sinners nominated for how many nominations? Oh, they might win one. So what are we going to do? We're going to tune in. But that's what they need. They need us to tune in. And they're using Sinners, unfortunately, for that. Because it sucks, because it was such a great movie. It was such a great piece of art. Yes, it tackled the issue of race, because that's what this society is about. Especially, it's a time period piece where race was the biggest thing smoking during that time, especially in the South. Shit, like, come on. Like, we're not going to, erase that part of history. It happened. But nevertheless, it was great that they won for cinematic box office achievement. And here's the thing, too. People don't know, right? Sinners was the only movie last year, other than that animated movie that won Best Animated. I forgot the name. It's on Netflix. That it's for kids movie, but whatever. 2 movies that got over 95% ratings when you do like film reviews, like it's Rotten Tomatoes and it's IDMB. Back in the day, it was Ruger and Ebert, right?
Yeah.
That's the only movie last year that got 95% in both categories. No other movie, not even One Battle Another, which won Best Picture, or Hamnet, which is now getting the Shakespeare movie. No other movie did better than Sinners. And so y'all tell me, if the best rated movie last year isn't winning Best Picture, and that movie was a quote unquote black movie, because of the director and the star, and also the cast was very diverse and black, why is it not winning then?
Right. Yeah. Those are questions that need answers. And like I said, them the clips you post and get on TikTok. What would I do in this situation? WWID. So in this situation, if I was Michael B, because that's the main clip. I posted the one about the one before him just to say they won something, but they said Michael B was snubbed. And if I was him, it's one of those things where you could feel salty, but you could say the whole thing of, if it was me. Granted, I haven't been in the field as long as he has, so that's I can't speak on that from that angle. But like, let's talk about podcasting, right? Okay, let's do it. So I've been podcasting longer than most of these people. And if I was in a category for podcasting and I was in, let's call it what it is, self-help podcast, right? And I was doing it longer than some of them people obviously were acting longer than him too. But like, say we've been doing it around the same amount of time, or I was a little longer than them, or been doing it longer than them, and they won, I definitely would have felt salty, because I would have been like, the way mine is put together, I've been out longer than these people. The way mine put together is unique. It's one of one. And say, hypothetically, they were all Caucasian, I would definitely feel away, because I'm like, now mine is way better than all of them, but how am I? I will feel away. So I from that angle, I will feel away. I mean, because I was gonna go with the angle of, well, he should just be happy she's nominated, and I still would be happy that I was nominated at the same time. But then you got to put your realism hat on and say, well, this is an award show, not for you. Well, like Monique said when she was talking about, when she was doing the movie, what was that?
Precious.
Yes. And she was saying how they were treating her like, yo, black ass should just be happy you're here. And you are doing all this demand and all this extra. You should just be happy you got invited. And she said for so many years, we've just accepted that. And I think that that's the point where it's like, you have to accept it to an extent, but in the same breath, that's when we should say, well, what are we going to do for us? You know what I mean? That's when it's like, well, they're going to do that. We know they're going to do that. So then that's when we need to say, let's make our own stuff again. And that's something I think I could see YouTubers doing. I could see a group of, black creators getting together around film season, doing a YouTube series or a podcast and just discussing film year round. Like, I think that needs to be, and I'm sure it's done on YouTube. I'm not in the film space, so I wouldn't know. It probably already is, but maybe not all the way. you know, and just discussing these types of things, how you just broke that down for so many people who wouldn't have even known all of that. You know what I mean? And I think we just need more of those things.
Yeah, I mean, with
saying anything, talking about something that's Tupac. Who is Tupac? Who is Tupac? But go ahead.
But no, with Monique, yeah, she actually won. For people who don't know, she actually won best supporting actress for Precious. But what she understood was she talked to white actresses. White actresses got paid for doing press releases and going around and promoting their films. Julia Roberts and a Diane Lane or I'm trying to think of some other Renee Zellweger. All right. Who are some other white actresses who won? Kate Blanchett, Meryl Streep. They all get paid for doing what they was asking Monique to do. So, and Monique was up until the Oscars, she was winning. I think she won the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice and the SAG, and she had been, so now again, she wasn't as acclaimed as them. And of course, once you win the award, that check goes up. Right. But nevertheless, like y'all expect her to do that for free. Her white counterparts are doing that for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. She should get something. She may not, again, at that time, been on the caliber as them in the acting realm, but y'all telling her to do that shit for free? Like, she should just be happy? No, when she knows that her white counterparts are getting paid for doing the exact same thing.
Like Malcolm, we don't talk to them devils. Follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, my brothers.
Well, Assalamu alaikum, my brother. No, seriously, I grew up Muslim, so I understand exactly what he's talking about.
No, I didn't grow up Muslim. I grew up Hebrew Israelite, but I know. So, what was I about to say? Okay, so we did WWID. So, in this situation, what would Jesus do? If you were ostracized when you know that you were right and you know that what you were doing deserved more praise. One thing I can say is because, which in a weird way, it kind of piggybacks off that last comment, because he's saying don't talk to them at all. But what I took also from that is you can't win in that. There's certain things you just aren't not win as far as the award, but just certain you just can't beat certain things, certain structures you just are not going to be able to beat alone. And I believe that in this case, you have to be okay with, like I said, with Michael B. and just in this situation, you have to be okay with knowing this award show was not set up for you to win, and knowing that certain things were not set up for you to win. But was your goal to win, or was your goal to create? Was your goal to make something that even if I don't win an award, I can go to sleep and know God is pleased, my family is pleased, and I'm pleased, and I'm good with that. And that's not no cop-out answer saying, because you could say, well, I should have won this. I mean, you probably should have. But in the same breath, when you create something, you do your podcast, you're not creating a podcast for an award. You're doing it because you love it. You're passionate about it and you love what you're doing. So in that case, what was I about to say? Hello. Somebody say something crazy. But it's just
to your point. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm sorry, just real quick, but Sinners will be known as probably Sinners, F1. Those would be weapons. Those would be movies that people remember from this year. Like, people are not going to remember Hamnet. People, one bad or another, maybe because of the cast. It had DiCaprio, it had DeToro, it had Tiana Taylor. Shout out to Tiana Taylor too. All right, that was awesome. She won Best Supporting Actress last night as well. But 1989, right? Oscar season. A movie by the name of Driving Miss Daisy. All right. Co-starring Morgan Freeman, won Best Picture. Okay. But everybody knows in 1989, what movies came out in 1989? You had Batman, right? The first with Michael Keaton, right? And Tim Burton. You had that movie. You also had a movie called Do the Right Thing that was not even nominated. Everybody remembers Spike Lee's movie. That is critically acclaimed. That is in the Library of Congress. All right, for film. Okay, how many people remember? So to your point, Spike did it for the art. He did it for the message. He all those performances, all those people acting. A lot of them became stars, right? Same thing with Sinners, right? You did it. Ryan Coogler is he's a writer. He's a filmmaker. He is a creator. So no matter what, if I don't win, I'm still gonna create. He about to film Black Panther 3 during the summer, right? He's moved on to the next thing. So yes, it is good to be recognized. It is, yes, we're all somewhat competitive. We all want to win, but at the end of the day, that's not why we do this. And so, we're gonna do this, whether we got 2 followers or 2 million, right? Like that. Then the thought and the attitude and the grind should not change. Certain things, of course, like anything, your mindset got to change a little bit, right? But as you progress, but why you do it at heart, that's why it's still 50, 60-year-old rappers out here. They just love to rap. I mean, and hey, look at Nas still spitting, giving us, but that is, he just love to do it, and that's why we do this. So their heads should be held high. People will remember this film for decades, and we'll forget about all these other films that are winning right now. Trust me.
No, for sure, they definitely. And then honestly, you kind of answered it. WSMD, what you meant doing this situation? They should do it for the love, do it for the game, because it's similar to a LeBron. Even if he don't win a championship, guess what? He's still doing what he loves to do. Even if they got cheated, things do happen. It's just the world we live in. You can't win everything. You're not going to win everything, even as times, but your time will come. And even if you don't win the award, because at the end of the day, because you're a filmmaker and this is your thing. But who gonna remember who won that award in 2025 next year? You know what I'm saying? Most people not gonna remember that, but they're gonna remember the art. They're gonna remember how that movie made them feel. They're gonna remember the message, the themes. Even I saw a thing the other day talking about Nick Cannon when he did Love Don't Cost a Thing. He said he hated doing that movie, but he made a classic. That movie is a classic.
Yeah, everybody still remember that.
I don't think they remember if he won an award or not, but they remember the dance they did on the beach. So, all right, y'all. So, thank y'all for tuning in this week. Thank you for pulling back up. Again, y'all, there is no episode. The season is officially over. Not how I normally do things, but you know what? Season 10, it's going to be epic, and I'm excited for that. So it's going to be definitely a nice long break, but it's needed. And I'll probably I'll start back recording episodes for it when I got people lined up trying to interview. So I'll probably start doing that soon. But anything else you want to add? Like I said, live stream is still going to be every Monday. So anything you want to add or give before we go today?
Again, Izzy, I always appreciate you having me on. Of course, HL Podcast. All right. Next Tuesday begins our 8th season. So HL Podcast, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Shout out to DJ No Name and I Am Dez. That's on YouTube, Twitch, IG, Spotify, iHeartRadio as well. The HL Podcast. But yeah, Izzy, like I said, as always, man, I appreciate you having me on. I'm down to do this whenever. So, as long as I'm free. So just let me know, man.
All right, good stuff. All right, y'all. That is all PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And always remember, I love us.